MIBR have always been regarded as one of the elite teams in Americas. Maybe not the very best, but certainly around third, which makes sense considering that's where they finished in both kickoff and stage 1. However, there's always been the thought that they were going to improve and shock everyone. After all, they have Aspas, widely regarded as one of the best players of all time. But another change that really shocked a lot of people was they added Verno, a super talented young initiator, and he replaced arguably their weakest link in NZR. With that change happening at the beginning of stage 1, after stage 1, they were supposed to be able to upgrade, to take the time to develop the chemistry and shock everyone. Instead, the opposite has happened. They had one of the worst performances I've ever seen at Toronto. In fact, out of the 10 worst players in Toronto, MIBR had 4 of them. That's not a joke. Everyone but Verno played horrible Valorant. But now, that's extended to regional matchups. They lost to Crew, they lost to Lev, and it looks like they may not have a chance to win. In this Lev game, they made a desperate change in my opinion, having Verno go ahead in IGL to try and do something to save this team. In this video, we're going to see what went wrong with the Verno IGL, if MIBR is fixable, and more importantly, if you're subscribed to Lionzblade. Go ahead and subscribe if you aren't, and let's get into it. Now, let's dispel the narrative right now. While Aspas is 22, which is older, he is not washed all of a sudden. It's a lot more of a game plan thing, which is a lot more complex to say than, oh, Aspas washed, let me post a meme. But let's go ahead and take a look here. First of all, he did not take almost any first engagements on this map, especially Artson took almost all of them. It did very well, but the funny thing about this is that Aspas is almost in a Demon 1 type of role, where he's very passive. And you'll notice this in attack, he's playing very passively, letting Artson do a lot of the work. However, on this round specifically, MIBR get up early. They get a good advantage. As you'll see here, Com goes over here towards B. Lev try and put some pressure on B after Com breaks this cam right here. As you'll see, a smoke is going to come out over here so that they can hopefully pull rotations, but it doesn't work. MIBR stand firm, and at first, it works out. But right here, and these are the little macro mistakes that you'll see. Sheenham is up numbers. I understand that, you've gotten 2, you want to get more. He needs to get out in this spot and retain the numbers because this mistake is going to snowball. As you'll see, he stops, commits to the fight, whiffs, King kills him. Now I want you to pay very close attention to what happens with Verno, right over here. He rotates over, the smoke almost worked to pull him over, but then as soon as Sheenham dies here, in my opinion, he should be backing up. Lev are here. You've seen Com's a flanker. And while it is kind of odd to you and to me and to anyone on defense that the info initiator is on the other site, it's clear Lev have a lot behind this. In my mind, it makes a lot of sense Verno to back up. Instead, if you'll notice, he keeps pressing forward here, dies for the site, and leaves Lev in a 3v2 scenario where MIBR have to do all of the work. They have to go ahead and retake this site. And if you'll notice, Lev have all 3 ults online. I'm not going to act like King's ult is super game changing, but Comms is almost guaranteed to get 1. Tex's ult also very valuable here. You'll see they're just messing around trying to see if they can get some util out. They can't. Aspas and Cortesia are both going to lose this round, but it's very interesting to see the micro mistakes that a team can make and just individual players can make that will end up completely screwing a team over. You'll see right here, Aspas gets kind of timinged almost by this dart. He hides in the corner hoping the smoke will protect him. He sees it and then goes, well, and then swings out. But something's odd here. I'll give you 5 seconds if you can notice it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and comment below if you did, but it's that Aspas isn't the one opping. It's actually Artson. Now, don't get me wrong. Aspas' op has been very consistent, and while it isn't superstar level, he's always been the main opper and definitely has some iconic clips. Think back to, that clip when he was playing against Optic and killed Marv full blind. However, Artson is playing Yoru only. He played Yoru on Lotus, he played Yoru on Sunset, giving Aspas that secondary duelist role. That's why that secondary duelist role, I apologize. That's why I mentioned in kind of a joking way, but also not, that he's almost being like a Demon 1, a secondary, more passive duelist that doesn't take that many, hard entry or doesn't take as many first engagements. But with that, apparently means they want Artson moved to the opping role. And don't get me wrong, Artson's op actually performed pretty well up to this point. Now, obviously, they don't have too big of a sample size. After all, it's literally just this one game where they got crushed against Lev. However, it will be interesting to see if Aspas can have more of an impact with his rifle. There have been a lot of talks about how players may, especially ones that are so talented with their rifle, be of more use if they can rifle and let someone else op. But I want to talk about this King clutch real quick. Artson, as I said, his op has been good. Aspas goes in here, tries to fight, backs off, and then Artsen's just waiting, dies. King plays this clutch very, very well. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know why more people don't do this in ranked. 1v1 clutches, when you're in a scenario like this, should be easy peasy, right? If you're king in this scenario in ranked, you should be winning 90% of those. It's a very easy play to make. Just plant, play back, take the 1v1. Don't be an idiot. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on MIBR, but rounds like this, which they win, seem kind of lucky. They only won 3 rounds here. I don't know how often Sato is going to be peaking without Comms drone here. I don't know. It's not going to be much. It shouldn't be much if Lev are any sort of team that we are led to believe that they are. Artsen gets a free first blood here, but wait, there's more. And again, I don't like calling rounds lucky. Every round has some degree of skill in it. But when you get a first blood because Comm either doesn't drone in time or Sato seems to kind of over peak here, and then Artsen is about to get, I would say, most of you could agree with me, this is a lucky kill, right? He's spamming off sound, yes, but you cannot expect to hit 3 Sheriff body shots like that, and then you just clean it up on the site because you now have the numbers advantage from those early picks. Again, I don't want to be someone that's saying that all of MIBR's round ones were luck, because no, but they did win their bonus, a Thrifty, the round before this, and this round. That is all for Sunset. That's not a championship team, that's Furia. Artsen's hopping on this angle. Lev fakes some mid-pressure here. They do the flash, they do all of that. But what I really want to talk about here is how the execute is immediately improved. Lev called a timeout, and the execute immediately turns into, okay, we know they have an op, let's drone properly, and you'll see that he actually does if I didn't just skip it. Drones, goes, okay, you're clear, Sato can go in, we'll pop the ult, everything is all right. But the real tragedy of this game, take a wild guess how many first bloods MIBR had. Remember, they got 3 rounds total. 9. That's right. 9 first bloods. They had more first bloods than Leviathan and were only able to get 3 rounds total out of it. And the answer to why is honestly pretty simple in my opinion. They did not look coordinated. They did not cover each other's gaps. What I mean by that is Tex is somehow, some way able to just walk up here without a care in the world, and they just let him. They go, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, we're not going to check that. Tex gets a free 2, completely flips the round on his head, and Lev end up being able to plant and get the kill. You have to be aware of what isn't covered and try and cover it instead of 2 people looking at the same side. I understand that it's weird with Artsen being on the op, but you have to do something. You cannot let that happen because that's what leads to you throwing numbers advantages so many times. Again, Artsen has done great as the Yoru only player that he's been. Honestly, he's been the best player on MIBR, obviously with limited sample size, but he's been very, very good. You have to convert on those first bloods. But getting those first bloods gives me a little bit of hope that MIBR can fix this and still be an elite team. I will also say, I really like how Calm is being stuck outside B main. Granted, he hasn't normally been this deep in B main holding like this, but just holding the space, making sure that no tomfoolery is going to really be allowed here. No push-ups by MIBR. And he holds the space until Lev decide, okay, let's go back B. We're good, right? And he's able to do this. And it's really impressive considering he has not been fragging. He fragged this game, obviously, but he's able to do this. His team trusts him to do this. He gets this second kill. But the real head scratcher for me is the money right here. I don't know why, and I believe the casters were talking about it too. There is absolutely no reason, especially after Verno dies here, for you to keep going for this. Now, their money has always been kind of weird. They keep doing these little like Guardian, Sheriff, half buy things instead of full saving, which to be fair, they did get a single round off of. I would argue it probably hurt them more in the long run, but I digress. I don't know why Aspas is speaking that. You're not winning a 2v5. You have 450 credits, and the last round of the half is next time. I'm really not sure what the plan was from MIBR. Their economy management was all out of whack this game. Again, I mentioned those kind of half buys, but let's take a look at one more round. Now, I'm sure I'm getting some comments already. Yeah, that round technically didn't exist, apparently, due to tech pause reasons, but I don't care. I think it's important to see what would have happened if there wasn't a tech issue. On this last round, I think it's very clear that there are some problems that you can see detailed and highlighted very, very, very clearly. So as you'll see, MIBR are trying to go up mid. Aspas is going to be able to actually make it all the way up mid here. He sits here, he waits for this smoke to fade, and then he goes in. But no one else goes with him. Literally no one. As you'll see, this neon stun thrown here by Sato makes MIBR make a choice. And more specifically, Shinam, where, okay, you can try and go in with Aspas, get stunned, or you can back up. Aspas is isolated from his teammates, dies. There's the first blood that we've talked about. This time Lev are actually able to get it. Tex gets one, but wait, the bright spot for this team, the only person that looked like they had a future in Tier 1 Valorant in this game, to be quite honest with you, on the side of MIBR, Artson does great to get 2, goes ahead and pops ult for info as well after he plants the bomb right over here, as you'll see. Pops the ult, boom, boom, all is well, all is good, but it doesn't end up mattering. And the reason for that is going to be because he can go ahead, get all this info, TP's back, but King has just been fragging. He's back on the IGL role after the whole Demon 1 fiasco with all the roles and Rossi IGLing all that, and he did a wonderful job of shooting here. The rest of Lev go ahead and get their kills, and after this game, I just want to show you one image. That's all. Do I believe this? No, not at all, but it is pretty funny. Go ahead, pause it here, and then when you're done reading, go ahead, click on the video that is over there. I definitely can tell how cameras work, and see my latest upload or whatever upload YouTube thinks you'll like. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.